What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning on in. I appreciate it. If you guys are a fan of the radio show, Tobin and Leroy, you guys can find us now on the Ticket Miami's radio. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning on into this video. I appreciate it. If you guys are a fan of the Tobin and Leroy radio show and you guys like watching it, you guys can now do so. YouTube.com/TicketMiami. I'll put the link in the description if you guys want to go venture on over there. But I hope you stick around here. Subscribe there, subscribe here, like, thumbs up everywhere. You know what everybody asks you to do. Appreciate that. So we're venturing off into another week of Heatland here of the off season. When is something going to happen? Is something going to happen? It's been pretty quiet thus far of the Heat pretty much just retaining their guys. We got some Victor Oladipo news last week where he became official, but it's a 2-year deal. Dwayne Dedmon official. Caleb Martin, that I believe is going to become officially official soon. I think he was driving into Miami to make that deal happen. So it's been pretty quiet, though. We know that the Heat have been in talks with this Orca stuff with the Kevin Durant news, Donovan Mitchell, and everything that's what's going on in Utah. And it's really just been pretty quiet. It looks like the momentum of everything with Kevin Durant was going to, maybe he'll just stick around in Utah. Maybe he'll just stick around in Brooklyn. Donovan Mitchell, maybe he won't ask out of Utah. So is this going to be a situation where the Heat strike out on everything? And I should say, strike out, maybe no deals come to fruition, or will he be able to? Will Pat be able to sharpen his harpoon and get something to happen in the coming days? Tough to say, man. It is interesting, though. The only piece of news we really got on it from the Heat standpoint, it was funny enough. The only report we got was from Chris Haynes, who during the Heat Summer League game basically said, we know the Heat are going to be in the game for Kevin Durant for a while, but we really don't know anything because they don't leak anything. And that's the funny thing. Remember the last thing that we got from Chris Haynes, not a shot at him, but just is what it is, because it was the only surprising really piece of Heat news of the offseason was the Derek Brunson, I'm a UFC fan, I always say that, the Jalen Brunson meeting. And the Miami Heat are having a meeting with Jalen Brunson. His representation sought it out, and it's happening. And then the Heat came out and were like, no, we're not. So it's funny that his next thing that he's got out there is, I got to be honest with you, the Heat, they got no leaks. Nothing comes out with the Miami Heat. And with this Kevin Durant stuff, we've gotten some stuff that he only wants to be in Phoenix or Miami, but the big preference is Phoenix. But Phoenix might be out of it. There was a report this week out of Phoenix where it was, what is going to happen with DeAndre Ayton. And this was from, what is his name? John Gambadoro, who has been a long-time Phoenix guy. He hosts shows up there, down there in Phoenix. There's anybody down there for us? Over in Phoenix, he hosts shows, and he had said something to the effect of the Pacers haven't been able to offer DeAndre Ayton a max deal yet because the Malcolm Brogdon deal is not official, and the Malcolm Brogdon deal is supposed to become official this week because he's going to get his physical. Where I suppose something could go wrong because he's been a guy who's had some big-time ailments. But once that deal with the Celtics becomes official, then they'll be able to offer DeAndre Ayton a max contract, which would essentially take the Suns out of it because they're either going to lose one of their big assets for the Kevin Durant trade, or they're going to match, and then they won't be able to trade him, I guess, essentially until, I don't know, what would be December. So we would know that would definitely take them out of a Kevin Durant deal, at least for the foreseeable future. And that's going to be an interesting thing to keep an eye on, because how impatient is Kevin Durant going to be? A lot of people say, I think a lot of people are getting to the point where they think Kevin Durant's not going to not show up to play basketball. He's going to show up to play basketball. He's too much of a pro's pro, too much of a hoops junkie. He won't do what James Harden did. He won't do what Ben Simmons did. He won't do what Kyrie Irving did. He won't make a stand of not playing basketball or getting out of shape for basketball. He just likes basketball too much. And I think I would genuinely agree with that. The thing that I just have trouble believing is that I do think that to a level, Kevin Durant looks at Brooklyn and their situation. And Brooklyn's probably looking at it and saying, we've given you everything that you've wanted. Screw you. We're going to keep you until we get a deal that we want. But I do think that for Kevin Durant's standpoint, I think Kevin Durant in a lot of ways wants to be treated like LeBron. It's in that he gets every move thrown his way, right? Like all the clutch guys are getting signed by LA. If he wants to trade for Russell Westbrook, they trade for Russell Westbrook. If he wants them to give up for Kyrie Irving, they're probably going to go trade for Kyrie Irving. And I think when Kevin Durant's like, hey, I came to you guys and I brought you relevancy. You know, who are the Brooklyn Nets before Kevin Durant? I mean, the team that signed traded for washed Paul Pierce, washed Kevin Garnett, had Darren Williams from Utah, like Joe Johnson, like who's going to beat these guys? And you go there, and it's like you get more Let's Go Heat chance than you get Nets chance at all from the Brooklyn Nets. So you bring this franchise relevancy, and it's like, oh, well, now we don't want to pay your friend. And I get it. His friend was a pain in the ass. Kyrie Irving was a pain in the ass with the whole vaccination thing and take a personal leave thing. And it's not that I don't completely get what the Nets are coming from on this standpoint, but you have Kevin mother bleeping Durant. Like, you're going to have to take some headaches, I would say, if you're going to be in this spot. And I don't feel like the Nets are in a spot like the Heat had a little bit of this with LeBron on the way out, where like LeBron had extra demands and his people had extra demands, and ultimately maybe it cost them losing LeBron James. But that's how it is, man. In this day and age, you know, people want to say, oh, well, the stars don't have the power. The owners are sick of the stars having the power. Like, I mean, it is what it is, man. I think that we are seeing it for a lot of markets that they are taking the money and they are staying with their teams and all that type of stuff. But I do think that you hit a certain age where you do get fed up with it, and certain guys are going to be on the outs. And we know Kevin Durant has made unpopular decisions like going to Golden State, leaving Golden State, going to Brooklyn giving him the max, doing it with a torn Achilles, and they still did pay him. So that could be in the rub of people saying, well, come on, they paid him max deal even with a torn Achilles. Yeah, because they wanted Kevin Durant. They were so desperate for Kevin Durant. A lot of franchises would be. And so the idea that now is like the time where it's like, pay Kyrie Irving, could upset Kevin Durant. It's like, well, how did you not see that one coming? Now, as far as the Heat's concerned on this, I am boots on the gram, and I am looking at some certain things that I find interesting, and I'm wondering. And so Jimmy Butler, typically Jimmy Butler on social media, he give you like three things, okay? What songs he's listening to, some glory shots of croissants and big face coffee. Maybe he's doing some tennis or dominoes or something like that. That's about what you have from Jimmy. Maybe like some shots of Winwood. So 4 things, of what you get from Jimmy Butler on Instagram. Not many of the times do you get the random, what is he doing there post. And so he posts on Instagram, some people wait until they're 100% ready to take a leap. They'll be waiting the rest of their lives. Don't be one of them. I don't know if he stole that quote. I'm going to just say it's a Jimmy Butler original, but it may be a lyric. It may be a quote that he stole from somebody. Whatever it is, he seems like he wrote it, put it up on Instagram. Boom. What the hell does that mean? Is Jimmy Butler sending the Miami Heat a message? Is he saying, go take the leap? It's never going to feel like the perfect spot. Is that a message of deal who you got to deal Bam Adebayo, deal Tyler Hero, deal the picks, do what you got to do to make this happen? Or does it have nothing to do with basketball? Could be something. Could be nothing. You don't see Jimmy Butler post a lot of that stuff on Instagram, though. That's why it stood out to me, because he's typically just in this zone of big face coffee, songs I'm listening to, what I'm eating or where I am, and dominoes and tennis. And so this kind of stood out of like, is Jimmy Butler sending the Miami Heat a message, or do they already have the message and he's just putting it out there? Look, this is subliminal tweeting, cryptic tweeting season. This is what it's for. This is where things get silly, things get fun. I like it. I love this stuff. I love reading into it. What does he mean by that? What is Jimmy Butler post on Instagram? Why is that? Why does Jimmy Butler post that on Instagram? I'll go full Windy on this one. I don't care. I think he's saying he wants a trade, whether that be for Kevin Durant, whether that be for Donovan Mitchell. Now, the Heat apparently did make an offer for Donovan Mitchell. There's reports from the Salt Lake Tribune that the Heat made an offer for Donovan Mitchell that actually came in before they even traded Rudy Gobert, and they apparently reportedly deemed the deal insufficient, is what the Salt Lake Tribune put out there. Now, certainly after the Rudy Gobert trade went down, I would say they would think a lot of things are insufficient after. I think the whole league is just like, well, if Rudy Gobert's getting that, everything's insufficient. That's why maybe the Nets are asking for Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Edwards, and 4 first-round picks. Thanks a lot, Minnesota Timberwolves. Really appreciate you guys giving the farm for Rudy Gobert. Aces. Really just works out for everybody there. But I just find it interesting. Jimmy Butler just puts this thing on Instagram. Some people wait until they're 100% ready to take the leap. They'll be waiting the rest of their lives. Don't be one of them. Who does he want to take the leap? Who does he want to take the leap? Riley? The Heat? Does it mean nothing? Is he referring to a song that he just listened to? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he means by that. All I know is he put something like that out there, and that's not typically his deal. Like, he's not like Bradley Beal, who will cryptic tweet like because it's a Tuesday, or Donovan Mitchell, who has done the cryptic tweeting. Kevin Durant has done the cryptic tweeting. Everybody's doing the cryptic posting. Now, Jimmy Butler's just joining in on the fun. We have seen Jimmy Butler take a picture with Donovan Mitchell. He has been Olympic teammates with Kevin Durant, and he has been a shot away from the NBA Finals. He's been a shot away. Here's the thing with Jimmy Butler, and he always will say, I roll with my guys. He loves his guys, all that type of stuff. But you know how badly this guy wants the championship, wants to win the championship and win it in Miami with them giving him the monster deal and all that type of stuff. When you're a shot away and it feels like your team physically fell apart, and you were in the NBA Finals just a couple years back, and you were 2 wins away, and the rest of your team basically physically fell apart, you have to be looking around and be like, how much longer, or how many ways can we do it with this same core? How can we do it with the same crew? I'm sure that's been wondered. I'm sure that's been kicked around. I'm sure that's been shared with the Miami Heat too, from Jimmy's standpoint. But an interesting thing for him to put out there. The Jazz GM, by the way, did come out on Donovan Mitchell and said, nobody's untouchable. No plans to trade him, but nobody's untouchable, which is kind of the vibe everybody gets. Is like the Jazz would be fine. They can say this front of, oh, we're holding on to Donovan Mitchell, we're building around Donovan Mitchell, but would it be surprising for them to go in full rebound mode? I don't know. It's an interesting thing to kind of keep an eye on with this, but it's silly sauce season when it comes to the cryptic posting. I love it.